Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
This never happened where 3 times we had this to. Never in my life history have I had to do this 3 times. Okay, so I'm not going to give up. Welcome back. Take 3 to the champagne room, guys. My name is Nat Jones. Yes, we have Dr. Toshiba with us today, and this is the 3rd time I had to restart my life. So, not sure what this is about, but it's in God's hands. So, welcome to the champagne room, guys. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so let's see. All right, welcome, welcome. Fito, how are you? Fito, I meant to chat, but I've been so busy. So hopefully soon. So yes, welcome, welcome, welcome to the champagne room. I think oh hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
This never happened where 3 times we had to restart the live.
Wow. Oh my
I
goodness.
can't hear you. I think you might have your Bluetooth on.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
No, I cannot.
I
No, I
Hello, can you hear me?
can't hear you, but you're faint.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I told my cousin I was going to wear royal blue, and I told her let's match. And then since she was sick, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go with pink. And look at you.
Oh, oh, it's okay.
I feel like going to get my blue blazer, but I'm so happy that this is finally working.
Yay, me too.
Yes, so
Excited to be here. Yes.
thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. I was just rambling about us Haitians in the community because we've all been here for so long. A lot of us we've been born here,
Mhm.
and I feel like we don't have a place. And there's so much change that's happening, and we have to stand up now and look towards those changes.
Yes, yes. I was enjoying the conversation. I hope you can hear me well. You can hear me much better now?
Yes.
Awesome, good. I was enjoying the thought process and the thinking around such a beautifully unique population or community. What's interesting is when we said, when we brainstorm about what is it about us or what do we need? And you were saying about the resources and about having a voice and standing up and all those things. But what I will share, the one thing, and I've been working a lot with, I just say the community. And what I found is in our Black and Brown communities, the one thing that we're missing most is support. We must learn to support one another. We have to learn. I saw some of the comments about this group is going to take over and this group has the money and the money talks, but a group that comes together is stronger than the group that is separate and apart. So we really, and one of my priorities, if not my priority, I will say, is to unite this community as the Homestead community, really, but to give the voice to those communities that are normally silenced in some way by the culture of the city or community. And to be honest, we look at communities, if you look around, we may have the Haitian community, yes. Oftentimes the Mexican community is marginalized as well, but another community that is greatly marginalized is the AAPI community. And you see that I understand, yes, we are oftentimes looked over, Black and brown, and those things, and the Asian community fits in that brown community. And they don't have a voice. But what we have to start to do as city council, and that's what I want to do, is bringing the community together. And I believe, like you mentioned, festivals. We used to get up to go down to the different festivals. I remember as a kid growing up in Miami, the Goombay was a big one. I'm part Bahamian. And so to celebrate that Bahamian culture, when I have birthday parties, to get a Junkanoo band and to make that, but not just in our little silos. We must do this, Renette, in a large way. We must tell our cities, we want you to come out and host one of our festivals. Host Haitian Flag Day for us. Celebrate with us our culture, and not And just with AAPI, if we look, we can count, I think, on one hand, if at all, how many celebrations we have around those communities. So
Mhm.
the way that we gain and garner that support or that from outsiders is to first do it inside. Let's not sit quiet. We can no longer, if we are looking and seeing what's happening today, when you find people that want to erase a history, it may sound like African American history, but it's theirs today. Tomorrow is maybe AAPI history. The next day is, oh, there was no Haitians ever. The next day there were no Cubans ever. There were no. So that's why we cannot afford to sit back and stand back and say, oh, not my problem. That's them. Because it's us today, it's women's rights today, right? Women's reproductive rights. But when will they start to say, well, and certain men have to get a vasectomy? Maybe certain
Mhm.
Haitian men, they have to go get vasectomies,
Mhm.
because they are saying, oh, there are too many and whatever rules. So it's very important. I believe it was Martin Luther King who says, like, if we, an injustice for one is an injustice for us all, against us all. And we really have to own that and say, it's not for me to turn my head and say, well, that ain't my daughter. That ain't my son. That's not my sister.
Mhm.
No, it's all of us at the end of the day. And if we cannot clearly see that now, we are doomed for a downward track. We really have to come together.
We
Mm-hmm.
we have to think as a whole
Yes.
versus as individual.
Mm-hmm.
And before I used to be, on a whole individual thing.
Mm-hmm.
But thank God, I had to go through some stuff, and now I see things as a different light because we have to move as a whole. That's the only way that it's going to work.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I have
And
a question for you, Toshiba.
yes, ma'am.
So
Yes.
what is your vision for the future of Homestead, our little town?
Yes, well, honey, it's not little anymore. I don't know if you know. It's not little anymore. My vision for Homestead is a community that comes together, really. It is a vision where all people are celebrated, where we all feel like we have a voice no matter how much money. We have to come out of the money mode and giving only power or a voice to those that have money and resources. We have to say, you know what? Me and my little income is as important as the one who owns Publix or Sedano's or other organizations, in our area. But the only way to do that is to be the example. I heard that Tamika was on, and understanding that she's a small business owner, but she's of value in our community, as is
Yes,
Publix or Walmart.
yes.
We can no longer just say, oh, that's just that little business. No, that's just that nail salon. That's just that girl who does hair. No, these are the sustainers of our community. I have friends who during COVID, they own restaurants, and we know even with Top Taste and Sapase and those in the community, they did not close. They made other ways to feed us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like to say we
That's
can
true.
still give you good food. They could have left this area. They could have said we're going somewhere else. We're going to Miami. They could have went to North Miami and made more money. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
they decided to stick it out with our community, and that deserves support. It's really important that we support them. When I go to look at what I'm having for dinner, and I'm not against chains. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you'll never see me in, which is not my favorite anyway, but Olive Garden. But I'd rather go and pay for Nico's or for Bangkok or some small to say or even today I ordered Top Taste actually, but to say no, I want to support those families. I don't even look at them like as business owners as I do the lady at Publix or those, but these are families we're supporting. We're helping them to put their children through school, to, feed their families and nurture and raise their in our community.
Yes.
They're adding value. The ones who own Publix or Olive Garden, they don't live here. They're not, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's important that we learn to value that in our community. And so for me, I want to say that loudly. I love you said something earlier about I'm going to get a shirt that says this. And I'm that type of person too. When I hear a good thing like, look, small business is our business. That should be a shirt. You know what I'm saying? This is our community. This is our real economy. They're the ones who didn't disappear. When times got tough for a lot of those larger companies, they left. They were like, "Oh, this community, bye. They'll leave in a
Red
minute."
Lobster left us.
Yes, you see. Now I don't even know. I think you have to go to Miami over by what is it? Where's that one Lone Red Lobster left over there. 103. Remember,
It's
I
up
think
there
there's one.
somewhere.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah. So they're quick to leave and say, nope, that wasn't profitable for me. But our small businesses, our families, they stay. They have a vested interest in our community.
And a lot of people, what they don't realize is that we complain about lack of jobs, right?
Hmm.
But we're not supporting these small businesses that can eventually create more jobs.
Hmm. Exactly, exactly, exactly. I remember seeing, I'm not sure if you know Nico's Japanese restaurant there by the Publix on Campbell. Okay. I remember, and you probably have seen this too if you have gone in and sat to eat. At times, her name is Masago. At times, she was the wait staff, the sushi chef, and the kitchen chef. Have you seen her do
Wow.
all three? Because her employees don't show, or she doesn't have enough, or she has to give them a day off, and she's doing it all. But you hear sometimes people say, and I understand there may not be very, and that's something I want to work on as well, is high paying jobs in our community. So I know that people say maybe she's not paying or able to pay as much as others, but she's able to provide work and consistent work. You know what I mean? And if you stick with her a long time, like you said, you grow her business, she can grow your pay like this. You're working with her, you're working with the community in that way. Or allowing our teenagers. I remember there were some teens, she hired teenagers for their first jobs. She trains them on how to become, how to wait on people, customer service and things. And she's been in the community a long time, a long
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Now, if you all have any questions for Toshiba, please put them in the comments. Now, Toshiba, let me ask you this. What do you consider is the biggest challenge for the position that you're running for?
Um, you know what, and I'm so not like this. I I don't want to call it hate because I don't hate anything, but I don't like to give the same answers if I can look for another. But I would say it's the unity in the community. I really would.
Everything
Bringing
comes
us
back to the
together.
unity.
It comes back to that right now. And I'll share why I believe that. Because when you have such a rate of growth, if the if unity isn't intentional, if we're not doing stuff to bring people together intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to have silos and pockets. You got the white people over here, you got but I'm telling, I've been to the churches. I see you have the Haitian church, you have the black church, you have this church, and how can we bring that together? Usually food and music does it. That's why we have festivals and celebration. But then in Homestead, how many do we have? We celebrate, and maybe I should stop here, but I'm just going to say we celebrate certain things like the 4th of July. And I don't have anything, but we have to celebrate all cultures equally.
I
And that is how you bring the community together. We cannot just say, oh, happy Haitian Flag Day, happy Bahamian and Independence Day.
mm-hmm.
But then, happy 4th of July, like this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, dude, that's not fair. And so, yeah, we just have to really think about and be intentional about celebrating all people equally. And then the community starts to come together and they fall in love with the Haitian culture or the Bahamian culture or the Asian culture, because they're introduced, or Mexican culture,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because we're introduced to it. But to one thing I will say, so my girls went to Air Base, as Patricia mentioned, Air Base Elementary. And I love so that school is it was I'm not sure about now, but at that time it was a baccalaureate school for international studies, even in elementary school. And
Wow.
they studied every culture. I can show you pictures. I tell everybody, I'm going to show this picture that I have of Patricia and my daughter. Patricia was their teacher, and they were, I don't know if it was Japanese or something, but Patricia had all her girls have traditional Japanese wear on, and she had a dress on as well. And they had, I believe, like their meals on the floor, like in the tradition, but introducing them to culture. It's very important.
I mean, America is built off of immigrants. So, I mean, I think it's very important that we, support other
Mhm.
cultures as well. Toshiba, I seen in one of the comments, Mr. Ralda, one of the comments was, how do you feel about the new gun laws? I know it's kind of, yes.
Well, I will say this, because I have a background as a military police. And my husband was military police as well. And we, of course, had that discussion in our homes. And we just began to pray for police officers because it's just not a good thing for them. They're on the front lines of this, and trying to balance between community, serving the community, keeping the community safe,
Mm-hmm.
and then having the community with weapons is very dangerous for our community. And so, how I feel about them, I don't. I of course I don't like them, but I pray. I pray
Mm-hmm.
for our police, and I think we all should, just daily. If you can pick one group or one person outside of yourself or family to pray for, do so. I'm not saying it has to be police, but just keep something like that in mind. Just saying whispering a little prayer for someone outside of yourself, like your circle.
You,
And
you guys know Toshiba. She actually prayed for us before we came on the live. So and shout out to the
Mhm.
police Homestead Police Department, and we have to keep the police in prayer, because a lot of the time I guess the media, they demonize the police, but
Mhm.
we need the police.
Yes,
um
yes.
so I don't agree with those laws either.
Mhm.
So we just have to continue to pray.
Oh,
um
can I add one thing? I apologize.
okay.
Pray and vote, guys. Pray and vote. We got to do that part. Get these people out of there with these ideas that are putting people in harm. So, two things we can do: pray and vote. I forgot that part.
So
Yes.
Toshiba, what
Mhm.
can you bring to us folks here in Homestead?
Well, I definitely can bring a wealth. I'm not saying can. I bring with me a wealth of knowledge and experience and culture. And it's gonna sound what do you call it, gooey looey, but in love. I think love is what is needed, and that's a part of why I say unity is very big. And we have to start to celebrate each other and one another loudly, because a lot of what I see when I meet people in the community in their homes now that I'm having the opportunity to canvas and really go door to door is just people, they haven't met a Bahamian American woman without hair. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, wow, it's cool to meet you. Oh, you're a cool chick. You good? Because they haven't met that. If you come with me, sometimes it's like, oh, I never met a beautiful, like this beautiful Haitian lady. I never knew. I thought they were this. Or so if we start to share our culture and meet one another and find one another in love, we will erase so many things. The Bible says, right, love covers a multitude of sin. And this is what the
Mm-hmm.
sin is, the thing in the heart. Remember, it's in the mind. So it's that thought that this is this person or this is that kind of person. Well, love will cover it, because when I learn to meet them, I'm like, girl, they're not even that. You know who does that very well? And I hate to call names, but I have to give her props because I love her so dearly. But Miss Paula does that.
Yeah.
She brings us of all different walks of life, all different cultures. She brings us to her table to break bread, share our ideas, our experiences, and we love
I
each other, right?
love Paula. Her
Me
energy
too.
is amazing. Shout out
Yes.
to Chef Paula D. But
Yes, we need more of those pockets, Renette, in our
we do.
community. I would love, yes, to have. I'm just saying this because I know of your background, but let's say the Haitian Evangelical Church invite the community out to dinner, not just one part, the Northwest part, the Southwest, not just Black people, all people,
Mm-hmm.
and be intentional about saying, I really want you there. So
Mm-hmm.
people can come, break bread, not for a particular holiday, but just we want to come together. And I hope to foster that. I hope to be the leader of that in our community, to
Mm.
really shepherd and say, I demand that maybe the city of Homestead, Miami-Dade, when I was working in Miami-Dade downtown campus, they had this, and I'm going to mess it all up, but you all are going to get my heart. So when we have Ramadan, where I think there are 40 days, or I know there's some length or period of fasting,
Mm-hmm.
but then at the end of it, the community, this is in their tradition, the community comes out. They don't have dinner in their homes, they have dinner outside, everyone, like a block party. They have dinner together, inviting people like the homeless or whoever don't have food, everyone is invited to eat together. And Miami-Dade did that once, down the downtown campus. When they broke Ramadan, they hosted that. And that's what I believe the responsibility of our leaders is, to host and to be an example of the unity we seek to see in our community. People have to see us breaking bread, see us getting along as leaders in the community. Oh my gosh, I'm really gonna get in trouble. But I told some friends, I'm not gonna mention names. I told some friends, you know what? Me and your wife and my husband, we have to come together and have dinner, and I mean that, because we have to become friends. If we're planning to work together on this council, we need to be together. We need to have a not oh, I'm not saying agree. You see how you have your cousins. I'm not sure if you have siblings, but when we have those family dynamics, it doesn't mean we don't get along that we always get along.
True.
Oh, you like that? I don't like that. Girl, you like, oh, I don't like, but you still love each other. But in the same
Mm-hmm.
way, we have to behave that way. We have to be in the space where we're saying, yeah, I didn't like that idea. I didn't vote yes for that. I didn't approve that, but I still love you. You're still good peoples. We're going to move on to the next thing because we want to all do what's best for this city.
Love you too, cuz. And before we continue, welcome to the Champagne Room. I do have future Councilwoman Toshiba Mitchell with us. Dr. Toshiba, if you're local, you get this bottle for sharing. If you're not local, you get the value of the bottle, and it is a raffle, so please drink responsibly. Honestly, this community needs unity. We need each other's support. It's not just about you, it's about your children. It's about, your neighbor. And we need to get that back.
Exactly, definitely. And I think it starts with our city's leaders, and that's why I'm running for council.
Awesome. My cousin, she has all the deep questions. I'm more of a rambler, but she she wanted to know if you see yourself running for any state seats in the future.
You know what? I walk by faith. I never thought this was not something that, if you look at my background, as far as my educational background, my career path, I was sharing with Patricia that God just ordained this for me because I always felt awkward. So you see how I dress? I've always dressed this way. Can you imagine that as a young person? I didn't understand, like, why I love to sit with my elders. I love wisdom.
Me too.
Yeah, so it's the way that I'm designed. I felt like, well, God did this. God knew this was coming. And so I will tell you, I'm open to whatever he has for my life. I'm thankful for every day that I get, for every breath that I get to breathe. And so I just surrender my will to his will and move in love. Really, I
Yes.
really don't know. I have no idea what seats and this and that. I don't even know.
So since we're looking forward for you to being one of our community leaders, right? I don't speak on weaknesses ever. I don't even address weaknesses or fears. So what are your strengths?
Oh, Renette, you're getting the same answer. I don't like that for you.
No, but
But I believe
that's just you.
it's just me unifying people. Um, Loving people is a strength of mine. If I had to say something more tangible, writing, I love research, I love reading. So those could be strengths if you look at it in a career path sense. But if I had to say my greatest strength is love. I really seek and to love. My prayer is to always, like I say, Lord, let me see how you see. Let me hear how you hear. Not that I get it right every time. I get in my feelings too, but he always brings me back and to a place of love. And
Yes.
so I believe that is my strength, is the
And
love of
God
God.
is love. And the fact that that's a foundation for you,
Mhm.
that's great, because in this community, and I'm pretty sure you grew up here, right? Were you born here?
No, I grew up in Miami, so right
Mhm.
down the road. So just to give you all a little bit about my background, it might get muddled, so listen closely, right? So my dad's side settled here. So they were the Bahamians that came to the South. That was the
Mhm.
Lloyd family. That is my dad's side of the family. So, and my mom's side is up north in the Miami area. That's my Johnson side of the family. So that's my American side of the family. And
Mhm.
so I grew up because they were not married. I grew up coming down here, going, between split between the two. And so I like to say I grew up in both communities, but that is how it was done. Like I said, my nephew Shedrick. I think he probably is on. I'm not sure, but yes, that's how my family happened. So I'm a part of the larger community of
Yes. No,
Miami Southside.
but
Yes,
we need the love down here.
that's right.
We're large in numbers, but when it comes to love and support, it's not there. And we need that. And and I noticed that there's a lot of us who've been here for 20, 30 plus years. And I feel like the city is growing. The larger the city grows, the smaller we're getting. And we can actually be bigger and have a bigger voice and a bigger impact in the community. But we have to show up.
Show up and speak up. And let me say this. What I've learned through this process so far is your votes matter. You really have to get your communities registered to vote, and you have to get them out to vote.
Mhm.
I promise you, like nothing else. And I'm not talking just for me. Make your own decisions. I believe that's a decision that everyone makes personally. I would love for you to vote for me, but get out. If we look at communities who has, that's why do you think Trump panders to the Cubans? Why do you think he stops at Versailles or whatever that place is, Versailles down there when he comes here? Why do you think that he does that?
Mhm.
Because they vote. They're not rich. Those Cubans aren't rich there. It's because they vote. That is why. So Renette, our work, even beyond me, I'm telling you, is to get the community registered to vote and then get them out to vote. Of course, register, but get them out to vote and people will start paying attention to you.
Mhm.
It's because you may hear things like, oh, the Haitian community doesn't vote. Even the black community doesn't vote. No, don't spend too much time over there.
Mhm.
You know, but we have to change that, and we can. We can. We're going to have to be the ones to do it, especially with everything that is going on in the country now. I
Mhm.
don't know how many people seen Handmaid's Tale, but that movie frightens me. That's like a nightmare.
What's the name of it?
The Handmaid's Tale. I said I was going to host a watch party and just have like a group of girlfriends come and we go in our pajamas and watch. Oh, when I tell you, it's a nightmare. It was a book first. It was a book series that she wrote, and then they turned it into a movie.
Oh,
And I'm
into that.
yes, yes. I may send an invitation. We may need to do that. The only thing is, it's a series, so we'll have to do it over several weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm all for learning and knowledge, because
Hmm.
if we know better, we will definitely do better. Dorada had a question for you. She says, "What laws are you looking to change?" Or yes.
So remember, in city council, we don't change laws. We can make ordinances.
Mhm.
Like I think Pinecrest, for instance, is one of those. Pinecrest or Coral Gables, they have an ordinance in place where people can't park trucks in their front yard, for instance. City council can do stuff like that.
Mhm.
But what we do is we work to make the city better. We make um, decisions on mm, zoning in our city and things like that. So it's not laws at this time at this
Mhm.
level, but excuse me.
So
And
since
it's about
this,
resources as well. It's, the city government has resources that they can allocate to the things. That's why you see sometimes a city logo on different events they sponsor.
so it's more like community building, right?
It is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what we have to start thinking about is that we live here. This is our village.
Yes.
um and
Mm-hmm.
we need to be unified. We do. We need the unity. And I feel like our city, we have strayed away from that. I can't say it's COVID, because this was going on long before COVID, where everyone is almost isolated or in small groups. We have to start thinking on a bigger level. Nobody have their foot on your neck. We can all grow, we can all thrive. If you win, we all win.
That's right.
So that's what we need to start thinking about. So Toshiba, I know you have something coming up, right? On the 31st?
Yes. Oh, that is our kickoff event. We're hosting at it's it's the day. So what we have is a qualifying period. So although we're all campaigning right now,
Hmm.
there is still a qualifying period that we must go in with our official packet and to make everything official in the city government. And so after we do that officially, we're going to have a get together to rally our troops and rally the team so that we can get the work done. Because that is when that window opens where people start to vote via absentee ballot. And then we'll also be coming up quickly to the October 3rd primary date.
And you know what a lot of people don't see is before I really started paying attention to what's happening in the community, I used to say there's nothing here. These people they're here, but they're not doing anything. But now that I don't have a front seat, I'm like in the middle row. I can see that there's things that's happening. There's the resources there, and there's actually like you're on on ground. You're always supporting local businesses, and
Mhm.
there's small businesses now. Tomorrow that could be a big business where we're hiring more people and more people, and there's more job opportunities where we're saying, oh, they don't hire brown people, but you're not supporting that business so that they
Mhm.
can hire our people.
That's right.
So we have to start thinking as a whole.
It's true. And whenever somebody says that, like they, I always ask the who is they, because the they oftentimes is us. When we look at that word and they say, well, they're not doing this, then look at how it goes like this, like, well, where is my responsibility in the day? Am I going too much to Ross and not looking at a boutique,
Mm.
like our sister's boutique, and things like that? Or am I going to buy, remember that nice scrub? Am I going there to get it from my sis or her Instagram site? Or am I going to Walmart,
Mm.
who orders from China, tons of it, and that's not probably good for us anyway. Her stuff is all natural, remember?
Oh
Yeah.
yes, I love that sea moss soap.
Yes, yes, and that scrub for me is everything. I mean, keeps my hands soft as much as we wash hands and stuff now. I use that, and it's just amazing. Yes.
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna share her information, but her stuff is the bomb.
Hmm.
Okay, so let me see. I think we've answered all of our questions. Anything else you guys have any questions? Delna says that we can change the narrative when we all show up in the community, supporting one another. I totally agree. Toshiba, if you don't know Delna, she has
Hmm.
Diva cakes, and her cakes is delicious. They're
What,
as delicious as they look. She is the
what,
bomb. I had her on the show last year. So if you need a cake, please get
yeah,
at my girl. She's gonna hook you up.
I'll be in touch with you. I definitely will. I had a something I wanted to ask. When we say, I know oftentimes I will use not only the Haitian community, but let's say the Mexican community as well. We value in our
Mm-hmm.
communities privacy and I don't want to call it secrecy, but something like that feels to me, like what goes on in my house stays in my house. You don't tell anybody, that kind of thing. And so, and I'm not saying to spread your business, but I think we have a responsibility that when things are happening in our
Yes.
community, we have to say and be the voice for that person who is the weakest or who is the most
Mhm.
fearful. It may not be involving us. And so I want to implore all of you when you said you're in the middle row now. So it's our responsibility. If I'm in the front row, I have to bring that person from the middle row up here, say, girl, no, come sit up here by me so you can see what's happening. And you have to bring the person up by you and say, girl, come up here. And that is how we end up here at the table. I'm in my gym. Y'all see this stuff here? Sorry. It was the quietest place in the house. And when I go upstairs in the office, it feels so lonely. So I was like, I'm not going up there. I'm gonna stay down here. But and being transparent, I would love for you to host the ladies' night. There are things that ladies, I'm also a board member for the Miami-Dade Public School Caucus. And
Mhm.
there are initiatives that our young girls need because a part of that sexual reproduction bill that they did where you can't talk sex or anything, you can't teach the girls now about their bodies and their period that's coming. Yeah, yeah.
That is insane. Lucy, I can't see your question. Ask it again, boo.
Mhm.
That is insane.
So we have to start to be the voices of our communities, not in a sense of, oh, we're just saying that. No, in the true sense, like if we don't, who's going to teach
Who's
them?
going
They're not going to
to
learn.
teach them?
Hmm.
Mm.
How are they to learn, Renette, that, and some still don't know this, but that we are all of the same. Yes, we have Haitian, Jamaican, Bahamian, but we were all in the same ship being dropped off, boop, 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 like this. And it's just so happened my ancestors ended up in North Carolina in one of the worst slave environments, but yours ended up over in Haiti, others on the Dominican Republic side, others in Brazil has a 90% of Brazilians in the country are Black
Yes,
people,
we're everywhere.
everywhere.
And, and we need to start thinking as a whole instead of individuals, because thinking as individuals is not working for us. So we need to change the narrative. Hey, Vicky, what laws do you want to change, and which is the biggest one?
Again, so with city council, we can create ordinances that are for our city, if you want to call those laws, but they're ordinances that you can have. And I gave an example of the one that Pinecrest, or I think it's Pinecrest and Coral Gables, but you can't park a pickup truck in the front yard. So there are things, measures like that. I think for me going in, to be honest, I am not, I don't see laws or ordinances to put in place or to change at this moment. I think the work to be done is we need to work on communication policies and transparency with our government. What I've heard oftentimes is we have city council, they should come to city council meeting. Well, everyone is not afforded the opportunity. Some people are working, some people have families, some people have. So how do we work to make that information more accessible to our community? Because that's who we work for, and things like that. So those types of things I want to work on. Unifying the community through festival and celebration, for sure, I want to work on. Um, I know that Mayor Daniela, because we have a large agricultural, I heard you mention in your background, like you used to work with your parents or used to work. And with this heat, this is different. So we all did the picking, I used to with my grandparents. But I think Mayor Daniela Levine Cava, you see from the county level, she enacted a law that they could not work in extreme heat. Thank God, because these employers would have probably worked them until they passed out. So they cannot work under extreme heat. And so there are laws we can make sure are enforced in our area, especially because we have a large agricultural workforce down here.
So let me ask you something. When it comes to the changing and making laws, what department handles that?
They remember the state. Daniela Levine can for our county, but that's how Governor DeSantis and the state legislation is for laws. That's who make the law. That's why all those bills, House Bill this and House Bill that, is coming out of the state. And this is another thing. I would love to do that too. We can start to have those conversations around like who's responsible for what, and pointing to who sits in those seats so we know who and what to vote for, and say, you see this fool is saying he doesn't want girls to know about their bodies, get him out of there. He said no, we have to start identifying people like that.
A lot of us, we know what the problem is, but we don't know who to write the letter to. Because sometimes, and I think that the city, we should hold some stuff, classes on that, or even seminars, just to educate the people, because a lot of us, we don't know. We go by what we see or what the media say, and the media, I pick and choose what I take from the media, because it can have some type of effect on you. But that's something that they can think about. But again, the people have to show up. You can have all the classes and all the seminars that you want. If we do not show up, it's to no avail.
Well, there are two ways you can do that, because I understand that sentiment as well. Like, oh, you do it, and that's what I've heard. People believe it. Oh, you do it, and they don't come. They don't want to know that. But we have to make it convenient for people. I will give you an example. I love the women's club, but the time of day of our meetings, who can come? You see, and things like that. And so when we're looking at having our community involved, when we say community, unity, the community, we have to make it accessible. to them, saying at a decent time, 6 o'clock, make it be on Zoom as well. I know even in my sorority, we do hybrid now. You can come in or you can stay home. You may have other responsibilities. In the same way, going and doing it and locate in the location where the community is comfortable, some like AAPI or Haitian community, maybe even Mexican communities may not want to come outside of their safe spaces. We need to go there. We have the responsibility to do that. It
True.
should not be all the onus on you. And we have the responsibility to make the information um, relatable.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make it so that our community understand, not talk over people's heads. It's important to meet the community where they are, and make people want to. Who does it really well? Representative Gant. I'm not sure if she's in Miami. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with her, but she does different conversations with Gant, and those things, and just is very accessible to the community. I
Mm-hmm.
plan to do that. I plan I already have some coffee and conversation scheduled at like Starbucks, and that's a small business actually. My friend, she owns that Starbucks. She's a female owner, and she's a minority female owner as well. And the one here across from by the hospital, Homestead Hospital,
Yes.
that Starbucks. Yeah.
Nice.
Um, hmm And she does service in the community, definitely.
Oh,
Mhm.
Tamika, I'm sorry, Toshiba. Tamika, I met Elvis from the networking event we had. He works on podcasts, so I will shoot you his number and you can chat with him about starting your podcast. He specializes in that. Yes. So, Toshiba, honestly, I see the growth of the city and I see great things happening. I'm excited about the future of Homestead. And
Mhm.
honestly, I would love to see you in that position because from what I've seen in the short time that I've known you, you are all about the people and unity. And I would love to see this for my city, because this is my city. I was almost a city girl, but God had better plans for me.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I think we are missing the unity part and the love part. And if we can have a leader that pushes and promote that, that's what we need.
Exactly. And I love you said something I had some, I don't concerns, I won't call them fears, but before getting on, and you said, you know what, that we're not going to tolerate that people are going to know the real and the fake. And if you know me, some people on here, they know me, and I'm the same person all the time, and I believe that God made me this way so that I can be approachable, you know what I mean, in the way that he would have me lead. I lead like this. That's why I said I'm in my gym. I'm in a regular, like everybody else. We have regular life going on all around us. I told Renette my daughter is due any day. I thought she was going to have her today, but she didn't.
I'm
But
glad she didn't because I'm so happy that you were able to chat with us.
me too.
And Toshiba, we're gonna definitely see more of you. You're here to stay. So we'll keep you guys posted on future events with Toshiba. And also where she's going to be at in the future so we can help her celebrate her win.
Yes,
So we're claiming
yes.
that.
Amen, amen. And if not me, I will just, if I can leave you all with this, go and register. If you're not registered, register to vote and take somebody, I would say 5 people with you, but let's just start with 2, and make sure you come out to vote in your local elections. Local election affects you most.
Mhm.
So you want to definitely make sure. I know that historically people have brushed off local elections like, oh, it's just them, it's just the city, it's not a president. But I will tell you, the stuff that we are seeing happen in our city, and those injustices or those marginalized communities, and we say, what's going on, and why can't we look or have a more robust community like North Miami? North Miami's leaders look like they're Haitian people, they are representative of the community, and so they're fighting
Yes.
for their voice. And in
Hmm.
the same way, that's another thing I want to talk with Renette about. So this is my time this time. Next time, she's going to be in this hot seat, and we're going to have her running for council, because it is very important. Yes, we all know representation matters. So definitely, I'm going to be pushing and helping the next one come up as well. That is our role. We're not to get here by ourselves. Mm-mm.
I made these corny business cards. I say they're corny because I made them in a rush,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing happens by coincidence. So they're for the champagne room, and in the back it says, "Let's change the world one community
Mm.
at a time."
Amen. That's mm-hmm.
And at first I'm thinking it's corny, but then
Mm-hmm.
this is our village. We have to take care of our village first. And a lot of people, they don't understand it. Like, we need each other and we need the love from each other. Imagine going to the store, or imagine needing the resources and it's not there. And this is your home.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
yes, this was a great talk, Toshiba.
It has been. Thank you so much for having me, and I'll do it all over again. You tell me when. Hopefully, we'll meet sometime in person. We can have those coffee and conversations. That will
Yes.
be great as well. I'll definitely share with the community those things. But it's not my vision. It's not what do you want for the city. I love those questions, but it's not about me. It's about us. And you have to talk with me. You have to tell me, Toshiba, I'm holding you to this.
Yeah.
Be a Pastor Reggie. Pastor Reggie don't mind. He'll tell you this is what I want.
If you guys don't know Pastor Reggie, he is part of the Haitian community and he actually represents us, guys.
Yes.
And we, as the Haitian community, um, we are actually in the process of starting from scratch. So I know there
Mm.
are great things to come, not just for our community, but for us as Haitians as well. So you
Mhm.
guys stay tuned with that. I'm for the people.
Yes.
And
Here's
I
our
just want
mantra,
that love.
fired up and ready to go. We are fired up and ready to go.
Yes. So
Yeah.
if you guys are just joining us, we are actually getting ready to end the live, but you can always play it back. Each share does get you a raffle ticket for the bottle. If you're local, you get this bottle. If you're not local, you get the value of the bottle, which is $60. Please drink responsibly. Here in the Champagne Room, we celebrate life. We celebrate small businesses, local businesses, love and positivity.
Mm.
Yes. Yes. So, Toshiba, thank you again so much for chatting with us and answering our questions. And we look forward to seeing more of you. Any other questions, guys? I think you've answered all of our questions.
Awesome.
But Toshiba, yes. So we'll see you soon. Thank you again so much for joining us tonight. Oh, Toshiba, this is all the live. We decided to stay on here tonight, so I'll just add the video to Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Renette. And you're doing a wonderful job. You're an amazing person in the community. And just keep doing the work that you're doing until you get on that
Oh
council.
no.
Yes,
Thank you so much,
ma'am.
Toshiba.
All
I'll
right.
talk to you soon, okay?
Okay. Thank
All
you
right.
again. Have a
Have
good
a
night.
good night.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you guys so much for joining me. Yes. So thank you guys. If you guys don't know Toshiba, please get to know her. And we need to start focusing more on the community, not just ourselves, because we live here, our children live here, and maybe our grandkids will live here. And people try to leave and they always come back. So it's best to start looking inward instead of trying to get away. But get involved. So vote for Ray. Oh, we'll tell you down for that, girl. They're not ready for me, girl. But yes, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Until next week. Delna, it was so great to see you, girl. Until next week. See you all soon. Yeah. So thank you for watching us here in the Champagne Room. Good night, guys. Y'all be safe.